My name is Emmanuel Witzthum, and I come from Israel. And I'm a musician, and I'm fascinated by the possibility of technology to both bring people together, but also to connect different ways for music to express itself. And my fascination to take part in this festival is first of all by the fact that as a classical musician by training, to have an institute like the Karya Institute have such a wonderful focus on technology and on innovation is very interesting. So it's being part of a community of like-minded people, of innovators, and people who are searching for new ways for music to express itself and how to harness technology for that. But it's also much more about being part really of this community of people, sort of to exchange with them, to hear what they're doing, to hear what they're developing, and potentially maybe to even collaborate in the future.
And do you have any experience yet expressing yourself by technology? Because you are trained classical and you're also a composer, and maybe you can try.
So over the past, I think 8 years, I've been developing different projects that use either web apps or use new media to rethink how musical experiences can work, and also how artists can engage with their audiences, sort of rethinking the audience's role as someone who is much more active, people who are part of the process, and creating works of art that are not necessarily works that are presented to an audience, but are more platforms for people to engage. And I think that technology is a wonderful way to do that in a very organic way. And it's also something that can allow us to sort of think out of the box and sort of say, how music can recontextualize itself, or how music can express itself in a different way using technology. So for me as a classical musician, technology has become a fascinating tool to investigate both the way that music can express itself, but also how people can interact with my work and with my expression.
So how can people interact with your word or with your work? What are ways, and what can they do, and what can they experience?
Sure. So one of the projects that I'm going to be talking about in the conference is a project called Mix the City. This project was created while I was at the British Council. I was head of the arts program at the British Council in Israel. We created this project as a way for people to discover another culture by making music. And I'm going to be talking about that project. That project is live on the web, and anyone can go in it. And there are, I think, something around approximately 20 different cities that people can go into and make a mix out of them. So that's going to be one of the projects that I'm going to be talking about. That's going to be in the conference.
So the people are making a mix out of music, or what are they doing? Like they are clicking at some buttons, and then what happens? Or
yeah, it's a way basically that Mix the City was created as a platform for people to become DJs, clicking on musicians that were recorded on different locations in the city, musicians who are from the city, and sort of represent the cultural diversity and also a snapshot of musical life in the city. And through that, we thought it would be a wonderful gateway to the city. So people, by making music, discover a city, discover a culture, and basically become a DJ. So when they press on these musicians, there are loops that are triggered, and people can basically make their own compositional piece, which they can then share online. So for us, it was a way to make music together with people and use technology to bring these two together.
Okay, interesting. At the university where I study, there's also the study career music design, and they are developing also often kind of choice where everybody can just do music. And I noticed maybe the other side of the thing is that often you just press some buttons and then you can hear two musics together, or maybe three, and what is the limit and what is really the music experience?
I think that always depends on the platform. So if the platforms are more oriented towards a game, or they're more oriented towards a certain level of engagement, then that's how you develop them. With us, you can play something around 12 different samples at the same time, and there are a myriad options of how you can work with them. So, and the sounds are very, very diverse. So you can do quite a lot with sort of a limited palette. It's basically like saying, okay, so a violin, you have 4 strings. How much can you do with 4 strings? So you can do a universe with 4 strings. So it's the same with us. Using these 12 samples, which are actually 24 because each musician has 2, you can create a symphony. It depends on your level of engagement and your curiosity and your playfulness with the music. But the platform is there as an invitation for people to join. So I think that maybe that answers the question.
Yeah, so it's like yeah, the composer, the people composer, or the music directors. Uh-huh. And you talked also about getting to know places via this. So yeah, how is it? Is it because of the sound of the music that is cultural formed also, or is it connected to places specifically, or how is it?
So the musicians are recorded on location. So in the website, there's a way to learn more about that location. And also, one of the things that we liked to do was we wanted people to be able to share what they're doing with others once they finished making a mix. So you can record your mix and you can share it very easily with your friends or colleagues, or doesn't matter what. And within the mix that you make, we have embedded videos of the city. So you make a video and the video is of those musicians who are part of the project, and also cityscapes from the city. So basically when people see your video, they're hearing the music, they're seeing the musicians, and they're also seeing the city. So it's a way for them to see the city and learn about it. And also in the locations themselves, there's also more information about the city that you can read and learn more about the history of the place itself.
Then I read, it was mentioned that you did also a project with the Elvin Ailey Dance Company. So
yes,
this was maybe more about choreography, or what can technology do more apart from music?
With Alvin Ailey, you mean? Yes, so these projects there were projects that I was commissioned to compose the music for dance pieces. The fascinating project with Alvin Ailey was that the choreographer, Donald Byrd, who's a very close friend, he created a dance piece that was based on the riots at Greenwood in Tulsa, Oklahoma, that were very, it was a horrible moment in American history, where basically like the entire neighborhood was burned down. And he made a piece out of that to sort of investigate that and think about that for the Alvin Ailey Dance Company, and asked me to write the music for it. And so that's more of a classical collaboration, which is artistic in the sense that I wrote the music for that. But I'm always very fascinated by this opportunity to collaborate. So bringing people from different, I think, fields in the arts, but also in general, different fields can always lead to fascinating things. Mix the City, for example, I'm a musician, I'm not a developer per se. So I brought together to the team designers, developers, and sort of thinkers, and together we created Mix the City. So this way of bringing people together who are not necessarily like, you know, a regular fit glove to hand, can lead to fascinating results, which is also why I'm very happy to be at the conference. But it's also one of the ways that I work in, very, very openly with people to collaborate on projects.
So it's like a co-project between everybody, something like
yes, that. Exactly, yeah.
And yeah, it seems to me that you can also, it's a lot about opening spaces in the head, isn't it? Like this technologic thing, because normally if you're doing art, it's a lot about the body also, and sensors, and maybe even touch, and yeah, a lot about direct communication. But with the technique, it's different. Or what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that you're completely right that there's a difference in thinking about a project when you're thinking only artistically, or when you're thinking about the art and the technology. So if we're thinking about creating an artwork, then it's usually there's a creative process, and you know where you're going to perform the piece, and then you basically perform the piece. With the technology, the combination is sort of like there's a triangle of connections. So there's the creator, there's the technology, and then there's the user or the audience. And all of these three things have to be thought of as you're developing, because you can't create a piece and then say, oh, but no one's going to be able to understand how to do that. Or You create a piece, people will know how to do that, but technology can't realize it. So all of these three things are actually the same, or of the same value. So in my approach as a musician or as a creator, when I approach these projects, I come to them with a very open mind, because I know that if I say something and the developers can come, or the designers can come with an interesting idea, they may change the project in a way that will make it more fitting. So it's very different to a creative process in an artistic field, where you say, okay, I want to write this piece. I wrote this piece. Now I'm going to find an orchestra or a dance piece, the dance company to work with me on it. With here, it's much more of a collaborative process in which all parts are equal. So the audience is equal to the technology, that's equal to the musical or artistic process.
Yeah, thank you a lot.